Once long ago, in a land far away, there lived 4 little characters who ran through a maze looking for cheese to nourish them and make them happy. 2 were mice, Sniff and Scurry. And 2 were little people, beings who were as small as mice, but who looked and acted a lot like people today. Their names were Hem and Haw. And Hoa. Due to their small size, it would be easy not to notice what 4 of them were doing. But if you look close enough, you could discover the most amazing things. Every day, the mice and the little people spent time in the maze looking for their own special cheese. The mice, Sniff and Scurry, possessing only a simple root brain, but good instant searching for the hard, nibbling cheese they liked as mice often do. The 2 little people, Hem and Haw, used their brain filled with many briefs to search for a very different kind of cheese with a capital C, which they believe would make them feel happy and successful. As different as the mice and little people, for they share something in common. Every morning, they put on their jogging suits and running shoes, left their little homes, and raced out into the maze looking for their favorite cheese. The maze was a labyrinth of corridors and chambers, some containing delicious cheese. But there were also dark corners and blind alley leading now here. It was an easy place for anyone to get lost. However, for those who found their way, the maze held secrets that let them enjoy the better life. The mice, Sniff and Scurry, used the simple but inefficient trial and error method of finding cheese. They remember color of the cheese and quickly into new areas. Sniff would smell out the general direction of cheese using his great nose, and Scurry would race ahead. They got lost, as you might expect, went often in the wrong direction and often bumped into walls. However, the 2 little people, Hem and Haw, had very complex brains with beliefs in motion that made life amazingly more complicated and challenging. They realized more sophisticated by finding cheese, depend the ability to think alone, the past experience about their ability, sometimes clouded by the way you looked at it. Eventually, in their own way, they all discover what they were looking for. They each find their own kind of cheese one day at the end of the one-hour calendar in Cheese Station C. Every morning after that, the mice and the little people dressed in their running gear and head over to Station C. It wasn't long before they established their own routine. Sniff and Scurry continued to wake early every day and raced through the maze, always following the same route. When they arrived at their destination, the mice took off the running shoes, tied them together, and hung them around their necks, so they could get to them quickly. They enjoyed the cheese. In the beginning, Ham and Hoa also raced to Station C every morning to enjoy taste new more than awaited them. But after a while, different routines set in for the little people. Ham and Hoa awoke each day a little later, dressed slower, and walked to Station C. After all, they knew what cheese was and how to get there. They had no idea where cheese came from or who put there. They just assumed it was there. As soon as Ham and Hoa arrived at Station C, each morning they settled in and made themselves home. They hung up their jogging suits, put away their running shoes, and put on their slippers. They will become very comfortable now that they have found the cheese. This is great, Ham said. There is enough cheese here to last us forever. The little people felt happy and successful and thought they would end secure. It wasn't long before Ham and Hoa regarded the cheese they found at Station C as their cheese. It was such a large scarlet cheese that they eventually moved their home to be closer to it and built a social life around it. To make themselves feel more home, Ham and Hoa decorated the wall, were saving and even draw pictures of cheese around them, which made them smile. One read, "Having cheese makes you happy." Sometimes Ham and Hoa would take their friends by to see their pile of cheese at Station C and point to it with pride, saying, "Pretty nice cheese, huh?" Sometimes they shared it with their friends, and sometimes they didn't. "We deserve this cheese," Ham said. "We certainly had to work long to the hard enough to find it." He picked up the nice fresh cheese and ate it. Afterward, Ham fell asleep, as he often did. Every night the little people would home full of cheese, and every morning they confidently returned for more. This went on for quite some time. After a while, Ham and Hoa's confidence grew into the everyone's success. Soon they began so comfortable they didn't even notice what was happening. As time went on, Sniff and Scurry continued their routine. They arrived early each morning and sniffed and scratched and scurried around Station C, inspected the area to see if there had been any changes from the day before. Then they would sit down and nibble on the trees. One morning they arrived at Station C and discovered there was no cheese. They weren't surprised, since Sniff and Scurry had noticed the supply of cheese had been getting smaller every day. They were prepared for inevitable and knew instinctively what to do. They looked at each other. They looked at each other, removed the running shoes they had tied together, hung convenient around their neck, put them on their feet, and raised them. The minds did not overanalyze things to the minds. The problem and the answer were both simple. The situation at Station C had changed, so Sniff and Scurry decided to change. They both looked out of the maze. Then Sniff lifted his nose, sniffed, and nodded to Scurry, who took off running through the maze, while Sniff followed as fast as he could. They were quickly off in search of new cheese. Later that same day, Ham and Hoa arrived at Cheese Station C. They had not been paying attention to their small changes that happened taking place each day, so they took for granted their cheese would be there. They were unprepared for what they found. What? No cheese? Ham yelled. He continued yelling, no cheese? No cheese? As though if you shouted loud enough, someone would put it back. Who moved my cheese? He hollered. Finally, he put his hands on hips. His face turned red, and he screamed at the top of his voice. It's not fair. Hoa just shook head. Hoa just shook his head in disbelief. He too had counted on finding Cheese Station C. He stood there for a long time, frozen with shock. He was just not ready for this. Ham was yelling something, but Hoa didn't want to hear it. He didn't want to deal with what was facing him. So he just turned everything on. The little people's behavior was not very attractive or productive, but it was understandable. Finding cheese wasn't easy, and it meant a great deal more to the little people than just having enough of it every day. Finding cheese was the little people's way of getting what they thought they needed to be happy. They had their own idea what cheese meant to them depending on their taste. For some, finding cheese was having material things. For others, it was enjoying good health or developing a spiritual sense of well-being. For Hoa, cheese just meant feeling safe, having a loving family someday, and living in a cozy cottage on Cheryl Lane. To him, cheese was become a big cheese in charge of others and owning a big house top Camembert Hill. Because cheese was important to them, two little people spent a long time trying to decide what to do. All they could think of was keep looking around cheeseless Station C to see if the cheese was really gone. Well, Sniff and Scurry had quickly moved on. Ham and Hoa continued to Ham and Hoa. Hoa started to get depressed. What would happen if cheese wasn't there tomorrow? He made future plans based on cheese. The real people couldn't believe it. How could this happen? No one is wondering what wasn't right. There was not the right thing supposed to be. Ham and Hoa went home at night hungry and discouraged. But before they left, Hoa wrote on the wall, "The more important your cheese is to you, the more you want to hold on to it." The next day, Ham and Hoa left their home and returned to Station C again, but it still expected somehow to find their cheese. This